Forced hyperextension and axial loading cause the lunate to impact and fracture the radial facet. Volar shear forces drive palmar carpal translation, displacing the lunate fragment via ligamentous attachments. High-energy trauma like motor vehicle accidents produces complex, comminuted fracture patterns in younger patients. Low-energy impacts like falls from standing typically cause simpler fractures in elderly or osteoporotic patients. 2.4mm Volar Lunate Facet M plate. Specific small fragment plate designed for the volar rim including the critical corner, lunate facet. Low profile, rounded edges protect tendons from irritation and rupture. The 0.65mm thin hook allows placement close to the watershed line, avoiding irritation in FPL tendon. Oblong hole for fracture reduction and length restoration. Variable angle locking screws create a rigid scaffold for small fragments. K-wire holes to assist with temporary plate fixation. Pre-contoured design ensures a precise fit and reduces surgical time. Available in high-grade stainless steel and titanium options. Color-coded finishes allow for instant identification of left and right plates. Position the patient in beach chair position with the forearm supinated. Reduce the fracture using a method appropriate for the fracture type and temporarily stabilize it with K-wires. Use a K-wire to provisionally position the distal radius Volar Lunate Facet M plate on the fracture site. Retrieve the plate and bend the plate to match the anatomy using bending forceps. Reposition the bent plate on the bone. Drill through the oblong hole in the plate shaft using a 1.8mm drill bit with the 1.8/2.4mm self-centering double drill guide. Use the depth gauge measuring up to 60mm to measure the 2.4mm cortical screw length. Assemble the 2.4mm cortical screw holding sleeve with the star head screwdriver. Attach the 2.4mm cortical screw to the cortical screwdriver assembly. Insert a 2.4mm cortical screw into the pre-drilled hole. Achieve compression with the final tightening of cortical screw. Place the cone-shaped end of the 1.8mm universal AV-Wiselock drill guide into the distal hole of the plate. Drill through the guide at desired angle using a 1.8mm drill bit to create a bicortical hole. Use the depth gauge measuring up to 50mm to measure the 2.4mm variable angle screw length. Attach the handle for torque limiting attachment to the 0.8 Nm torque limiting attachment and T8 star screwdriver shaft with 2.4mm Wiselock screw holding sleeve. Screw in variable angle screws using variable angle screwdriver assembly. Repeat this procedure for the remaining AV-Wiselock head holes with 2.4mm variable angle screws. Remove the K-wires from the bone after completing the fixation. Distal radius fracture reduction using Auxein's distal radius Volar Lunate Facet M plate completed. Immobilize the wrist in a splint or brace for initial soft tissue healing. Initiate gentle finger and wrist range of motion exercises as tolerated in the early phase. Gradual progression to active wrist mobilization after 2 to 3 weeks. Begin strengthening exercises once fracture stability is confirmed.